The game should not be like this to end the season, but here we are. We end the season off at 12-5, taking on the Denver Broncos. It was a great game, but before we dive into any of that, you guys already know what to do. Please be sure to subscribe to the channel and like this video. Even throughout the playoffs, I will keep uploading reactions, previews, anything you want to see. I am here, anything Kansas City Chiefs related and football related as well. I got a lot in store during this playoff run, so you do not want to miss out on any of that. But without further ado, we had an exciting game, so let's dive right into it. The Kansas City Chiefs escape out of Mile High with a victory 28-24 against the Broncos. And right now, of course, I am excited that we ran away with the win. And now Sunday, we get to watch the Texans hopefully defeat the Titans. It's going to be an interesting game as well. Hopefully, it'll be as entertaining as this one. Hopefully, Texans can take over. But with that as well, this game still left a lot of questions that we were hoping to have answered against the Bengals, and that just was not the case, unfortunately. And the biggest one is the D. The D struggled, and I was hoping against struggling Denver offense that we would have the D rebound and we would have a few turnovers. We would shut down Locke, and that just was not the case. Locke looked really good today. He scrambled in the first half and picked up tons of yards. We couldn't stop him whatsoever, but I'll get to the point on why we couldn't do any of that. And then I'll get to the big clutch play, which changed this game late in the fourth quarter as well. But it's very scary to see that we can't stop a Denver team who's been struggling the last month or two against defenses on moving with their offense, and we can't stop them. I mean, when we're going to go against higher-powered offense, like let's just say we had to play a wild card weekend, and we got to play the Chargers again, they've already went head-to-head with us into the game as well and beat us once and could have beat us a second time if Kelsey doesn't have a walk-off in overtime. And if we can't stop the likes of a Herbert, let's say a Josh Allen, Derrick Henry's going to be back. It's going to be interesting. There's a lot of high-powered offenses in the playoffs, and our defense struggling against Denver is not a good sign whatsoever, and something I don't want to see throughout the season, throughout the playoff season as well, because if we can't stop them, we need huge adjustments, and I think it's an easy fix. I just don't know if the Chiefs will do it. And when I go to that, Spagnolo, I mean, it's you pay these guys big money to be there. They're three down players, which on the line would be Frank Clark. You have Chris Jones. You would have Jaron Reed and Melvin Ingram. And I don't know. I would love to say it was just a rotational thing, just that because it's the last week of the season. Maybe, I don't know. Just didn't seem like there was too much interest in this game in the beginning on the Chiefs side. And it's kind of really unfortunate too. But I say that, but then I've seen this a few weeks before against the Bengals as well, even against the Chargers, where he'll play a rotation of the backup line and then bring in the starters on third down. And I just hate that because you're depending on the starters to come on 3rd and short or 3rd and 5. And of course, like they've always given it up. Like I would hope you have the starters there like consistently and thoroughly throughout the game. That way, maybe they can cause pressures. Maybe on a second down they can get a sack, force a 3rd and long, and put them in a very hard 3rd down position. And we haven't been doing that. And I just hate to see this rotation as well. And the same thing, Ward struggled today, but not as much as he did against Chase. But as well, it's like this zone defense, I know it's not going to change. Like, that's the scheme they run. But as well, players look confused. They get lost at all times. And it lets a lot of underneath routes wide open. And it let a lot of actually deep routes wide open, too, where you're just like, how does someone get that open? And it happened throughout the game. Happened against the Bengals as well. Last thing I want to see is our defense looking like it did in September and October going into January and playoff season when you're trying to make a Super Bowl run. And it kind of looks like we're backtracking. I hope that's not the case. Maybe it's something you can knock off because they proved for 8-9 games that they can be an elite defense. Something's got to click. Hopefully it clicks either wild card weekend or if they get a bye week in divisional round, because it's going to be something scary if it doesn't. Mahomes is going to have to go toe-to-toe with someone, and I don't know if they're that type of offense. I know they got that type of firepower, but at the same time, it's not something I want to see. I need to see the defense make stops. I need to see where the offense can be comfortable and do what they need to do instead of forcing things, because that's how they maneuver and manage the game best this year. As well, another thing I want to bring is Hardman. He showed up. He looked great. Unfortunately, in warm-ups again, we had a player get hurt, Tyreek. He was in and out of the game. He made a clutch 4th down catch As for that, not much, but as well, he was limping thoroughly throughout the game. That means Kelsey was going to get the double teams. Kelsey ended up getting hurt on the last play of the game, but it was a clutch play as well. Hopefully, that's nothing too serious going into the playoffs. Again, wild card or divisional. We need both of them to be healthy. Hopefully, they get enough rest this week. But Hardman looked great, and Denver didn't have an answer whatsoever for those screen routes. And you could just tell, even when he had that run up the middle, it's like he was hitting those holes hard, and you just knew he was going to break one. And on that last one, it went for like 60 yards. Fortunately, it wasn't a touchdown, but that's still a big gain and a huge break to basically clinch the game and let KC manage it and run out the remainder of the clock as well. Again, offensive side, another big addition who I was excited about this preseason and finally came through, but also he was injured throughout the season, is Jerick McKinnon. He ended up stepping up big. Darrell Williams unfortunately got hurt. I don't know if it's anything too serious with him. I'll have a report later on throughout the week. But on that last play before half, he tried to make a play to, I don't know, take it all the way downfield in the end zone, and he got hurt. He was a good 60 yards away, so it was an unfortunate play to get hurt on, but he did. And then Jerick McKinnon and Derek Gore type of game, but then they rolled their hand with Jerick McKinnon, and he looked great. He had a great touchdown where, for someone his stature and his size, like, we know he has the speed even after his ACL injury with San Fran and with the Vikings. He still has that burst, but as well, he adds another element to his game, which is the power, and it just looks like that first defender can't bring him down or he pushes them forward. And that's going to be fun to see in the playoff time, too, because a lot of teams aren't used to Jerick McKinnon on the Chiefs. So if it's another weapon to add to, especially if a Kelsey or Hill is dinged up, and if we can get Clyde Edwards-Helaire back as well, too, they both are kind of the more similar players to me. I just think Jet McKinnon has more speed, so he's going to be interesting. I hope he sees the field more often. It's going to be exciting to see during playoff time. Now, I want to kind of go back to a negative, and it's Josh Gordon. I kind of hold high hopes for him throughout this season, and I don't know. I just think it's done. Like, he had a huge third down drop. It's like, he's one of those receivers where you're big, so you're supposed to catch those contested catches. I know a lot of people are going to know what I'm talking about here. And when it drills you in the chest, you're one-on-one. Those are what KC signed him for. So those are the plays he should be making. He's had enough time to learn the playbook, even though I know they say it takes players a few years to learn to read his playbook, but he should have a majority of it down. He should have timing and rhythm down with Mahomes. Definitely going to the playoffs when you were signed around week 3 or 4, and the fact it's still not gelling, unfortunately, I think this is his last stop, and he's not making the most of his opportunities. Let's hope he, shows out one of these playoff games, but then again, we don't know as well. And then another unfortunate, even though he did have good plays, and he had a good, 3rd and 20 play where it became 4th and 1, and then Casey ended up picking that up, was Byron Pringle, but he did get hurt on that play. I don't know if we've seen him since. If not, it was kind of like a Hill situation where he was in and out because he hobbled, his knee got hurt as well, but he was still on the sideline, so I don't know if that's anything too serious as well. But Pringle struggled, and you could tell there was communication issues with him and Mahomes as well. I think that's easily going to be cleaned up, but again, who knows? We'll see. He has shined, and definitely with more time on the field, he's been shining big time. And it was unfortunate to see them not click, but as well, he made plays when it matters. So I expect Pringle to be good in the playoffs and have Hardman clicking the way he did. 8 catches, 108 yards. Definitely, when your two main guys and the Pringle getting dinged up are out, you need someone to step up, and Hardman did. But speaking of stepping up, Denver was moving through this defense, and they were about to go up again and make it 28-20. If not, Denver could have made it 29 and try to close the game out. And Melvin Ingram, he's probably my player of the game because he was stuffing the run every time he was on the field, unfortunately, because Spags don't play his starters every down, as I already mentioned. But he blew that up, and the more you look at it, it wasn't just the blow up as well, but it's to know where the ball was, and when you're falling backwards, to strip it out as well is just very good awareness by Ingram to make a play like that. And for Bolton to be right there and just scoop and score, it's funny. It's it's crazy how your emotions just change just like that, because you're thinking you're about to lose this game, honestly. Or Mahomes has to go down and tie it 28-28, and it's just a different type of ball game. Denver has full control. They're moving the ball like crazy, and something like that flips the emotions. You get excited and you're ready to win a game. It's like it's one of the greatest feelings, definitely in sports if you're a sports fan as well, because go from thinking you're gonna lose to someone make a play like that and like thank you, Pittsburgh. That's all I got to say because Ingram has shown out. Like I mentioned before in the preview, he doesn't get many sacks or anything like that, but he disrupts the passer and he gets in the backfield and blows up any play. And another unfortunate thing, but it's for him on his own, is Chris Jones. He didn't get his incentives. He didn't get a sack today, which was kind of crazy as well. But again, I think it has a lot to do with the rotation as well because he didn't see the field as much as I'd want him to. Like I said, like for the first 3 downs, he wasn't there, and then he comes in on 3rd down. That's just the rotation Spags has been running with Clark, Jones, and Ingram. I don't want to see it, but that's what happened, and it might have cost Jones $1.2 million. And I don't know how he feel. He didn't pull an Antonio Brown. He kept a shirt on, so that's a positive. But it was a very exciting game. There's still a lot of questions. Honestly, these last 2 weeks have made me feel less confident going into the playoffs. But again, this Chiefs team can always click and start a run as well. But I don't know. Like, it's going to be interesting just to see who we play. If we play the Chargers, it's going to be a nervous one. And, like, I could see us losing in the wild card, honestly, if it's against the Chargers. It just depends on what team shows up. And it's going to be exciting. That's why I kind of really hope the Texans win because the Chiefs need it a lot just to get healthy with the likes of Kelsey, Lair, and then Hill coming back as well. But if they don't, they got to answer the bell, and hopefully they do because it's going to be a hard fight if they go against the Chargers. And even if it's the Raiders have proved, like, even though we've blown them out twice and their defense doesn't adjust, kind of like KC's as well, their offense can score. And if KC's defense stays the way it is, last thing is you want to go in a shootout with the Raiders. Definitely not that. But again, it's been an exciting Saturday. Now what we'll do is watch the Texans, hopefully handle business on Sunday. At least we get to chill on Sunday and enjoy it. But with that, let me know down below. I know it was a win, but let me know if you're feeling confident or if this has more questions than you would hope, definitely with a victory. But as I did mention before, thank you guys for checking in. Please be sure to subscribe to the channel and like this video. And with that, enjoy your football Sunday.